Hello and welcome to this Year 9 video on reported speech. Now, firstly, what is direct speech? This is what you need to understand first. Direct speech is what we call the words people use when they speak. So, for example, he said, and then this is what he said, I haven't seen you in a long time. So the direct speech there is, I haven't seen you in a long time. So what is indirect or reported speech? It's how we report what another person says. For example, we took the sentence from before and we changed it to he said he hadn't seen me in a long time. Now, as you can see there, the pronoun has changed and the verb tense has changed. So why do we use reported speech? We use it to talk about things that other people have said. And how do you create it? Basically, you'll use some of these key words, said or that. Could also be reported. It could be many different synonyms for said. And we can change pronouns. So how do you create reported speech? Right, well, if it's in the present tense, they basically move one step back. So if it's in the present tense, you'll become the past simple. If it's in the past simple, it becomes the past perfect. Had and the third column of irregular verbs, which is the past participle. Present continuous becomes the past continuous. The present perfect, again step back, past perfect. Will becomes would, and can becomes could. Now, present tense, as we said, it becomes the past simple. So in this case, for example, has to becomes had to. Here's an example. You have to do a bike ride for charity. Becomes the judge said that the man had to do a bike ride for charity. Now you can see here that the you has changed to the man and have has changed to had. I am called Claire becomes she said she was called Claire. So the I changes to she and the am changes to was. The past simple becomes the past perfect. For example, looked becomes had looked. I enjoyed my dinner becomes she said she had enjoyed her dinner. Or, if it's a man, he said he had enjoyed his dinner. So again, you have to be careful with the pronouns and with the verb tense. Present continuous becomes the past continuous. I am walking becomes he was walking, or she was walking, or it was walking if it's a dog. I am learning to cook becomes she said she was learning to cook, or he said he was learning to cook. Now the present perfect becomes the past perfect. For example, I have been becomes he had been, or even I had been, she had been, etc. I have already had lunch becomes she said she had already had lunch, or he said he had already had lunch. Will becomes would. For example, I will win becomes I would win. I will call you later becomes she said she would call me later, or he said he would call me later. Can becomes could. For example, I can swim becomes I could swim. You can either walk around in a circle for 50 kilometers or go to jail becomes the Judge Michael Ciccionetti, I think that's how you pronounce it, said that she could either walk around in a circle for 50 kilometers or go to jail. There you can see that you becomes she, can becomes could. Now remember, subject and object pronouns, they will change. I have already told you, she said she had already told me. So you can see how the I and the you have changed to she and me. Possessive pronouns, I've mended my bike becomes he said he's mended his bike. So my bike changes to his bike according to who says it. If it was a girl, it would become she said she's mended her bike. And time references. I'll see you next week. Well, you could still probably use next week, but she said she'd see me the following week. Okay? It depends on when it was said, etc. But you could probably get away here with next week. And place references. I want to stay here. Again, depending on the situation, this might change. He said he wanted to stay there, so the here changes to there, here. Okay? Now, as you can see, there are lots of things you need to think about with reported speech. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.